Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third in the series of Ask the Experts webinars. This time on this session, we will be discussing improving customer experience through licensing and entitlement management. Our presenter today is Mark Horvath, which is with me on the line, and Mark is one of our experts and a sales engineer with SafeNet. Basically, this Ask the Experts webcasts were designed to help you stay up to date on key product changes, issues, and solutions while providing education and training on the latest technology and developments. My name is Asaf Regev, and I will be your moderator for this session. Basically, today, we would like to discuss how the market is sort of changing. It is no longer up to the software publisher to determine how their customers will interact with the products and the services that you as the ISV offer. End users are becoming increasingly involved in determining how they want to purchase, use, and manage, basically, and how they interface with these software publishers and their offerings. In order to retain these existing customers and to remain relevant in the fiercely competitive B2B software industry, you, or basically software publishers, need to put customer experience at the heart of your software monetization strategy. And this is exactly what we will be discussing today. So this presentation will cover several ways that you, software publishers, can and should be leveraging these licensing and entitlement management tools to heighten customer experience and therefore realize, all the success and sort of potential which is out there in the market. So before we get started, I'd like to remind you that you can basically submit questions at any time, and this can be achieved very, very easily by clicking the question button on your screen. And we will just take all of these answers, put them aside, during the presentation, and Mark and I will make sure that they're sort of answered at the end of the presentation. And I'd like to remind you that for online social media, we'll be tweeting from SafeNet Sentinel using the Twitter hashtag AskSafeNet. And additionally, please note that the links to all of our online communication on your screen can be seen throughout the presentation. So without further delay, I would like to hand this out to Mark so that we can basically get started and enjoy the presentation. Mark?
Thank you, Asaf, and welcome everyone to our latest Ask the Experts webinar. In today's session, we'll be covering the topic of improving your customer's experience through licensing and entitlement management. I'll introduce today's topic by describing why the customer's experience is so important. I'll continue with describing the four main aspects of building a positive customer experience with software license management technology. And just on a note, on occasion I may use the term customer and end user interchangeably during today's presentation, but they're one of the same and are the end users of your software. In the Sentinel approach, I'll identify how SafeNet Software Rights Management supports the enhanced customer licensing experience with our Sentinel design philosophy. And as Asaf says, we'll finish up the presentation with a summary and Q&A. So during the presentation, just please submit any of your questions during this presentation. We'll get to them later. So why is the end user experience such an impactful topic? The old-fashioned or handcuffed approach is rapidly disappearing. Previously, end users were handcuffed to licensing. In general, there was a one-size-fits-all approach with the software product that was delivered to all customers. But in today's world, software vendors or ISVs operate in a very competitive environment. So providing the end user's experience is quite often could be the sole competitive differentiator as long as it's a positive experience. So let's take an example. In SafeNet's case versus some of our competitors, we both offer similar products and solutions and service similar markets. But our biggest advantage comes from the customer experience side. Our customers actually prefer working with us. We try to enhance this experience and not impact it by fastening license handcuffs, if you will, even more. So why is this happening? The trend of empowering end users has created a power shift, and our goal is to leverage and maintain and constantly enhance that experience. We do this by bringing more ownership and more governance into the equation, and then we're able to further enhance our end users' experience. And the message here is that we're here to service you. We empower you, or SafeNet's, in this case, SafeNet's end user. And as a direct result of this power shift, you are able to provide as much license flexibility to your end users as needed. So how do you build this positive approach or experience? In general, there are 4 main concepts on how to build and maintain that positive experience. And then, now let's investigate these concepts in greater detail. The first concept is product versatility. It has 2 steps. The initial step discusses the separation of functionality from the actual features that you're trying to license. In simple terms, how do you as the ISV uniquely license and offer your products to so many different end users without continuously re-involving your engineering teams? This is achieved in the following manner. First, you want to give customers access to only the pieces that they need or require. No one really likes to pay more for something that they don't need or will not end up using. And you want to simplify the process of product usage, license activation, and upgrades. In doing so, this reinforces the value you provide to your specific customers. SafeNet's software rights management value is in being able to provide you with the facilities to give your end users access and usage rights to specific pieces that they need and pay accordingly. And this is all done in a fully transparent fashion. The second step of product versatility relates to the capability of your back-end systems. That is, how do you handle multiple packages, bundles, and business models, and how do you bill your customers accordingly? Offering a large variety of software packages and product bundles is good. It's a good thing, but you as ISV, you need to be able to fully support management of them from your back-end system. And knowing that there are no 2 customers alike in terms of solutions, you must be flexible enough to offer and sell a wide variety of products and bundles and be able to package and bill accordingly. As an ISV, your end users are expecting you to be able to provide a highly flexible solution while still being fully transparent on what they get and what they pay for. The next concept is license model flexibility. Now, packaging is all good and well, but how do I measure what I really bought and used as a customer? As an end user, I have a specific license models or needs, and I expect to be billed accordingly. You, as the software vendor, are expected to offer the same product, but you may bundle them differently. For example, your licensing may be seat-based or concurrency-based or volume-based. And you do this to provide extra flexibility or edge in your offering. Now, in some cases, you may want to adjust the security level or policy based upon your relationship with that customer. You may, for example, have a VIP customer or someone that you trust fully, or they may be based in different geographical locations. As an example, if you take Microsoft volume licenses, we or SafeNet, we purchase volume licenses and install and consume these licenses as needed without continuously having to go back to Microsoft to buy more. The third concept of building a positive customer's experience through licensing is transparency. The whole idea is to provide your customers with all the relevant information in a clear and transparent manner to allow them to determine their licensing status in real time. For example, your customer may wonder, am I in compliance with the software license agreement? Have I bought too many licenses or more than I actually need? Or have I gone over the quantity that I purchased? That is, am I not in compliance? Now, the common perception here is that the customer thinks that they've overpaid and they're being ripped off, but in reality, this may be quite the contrary. SafeNet's value is in providing this transparency all the way down to the end user, and thus it facilitates an enhanced customer experience. To recap, the transparency concept emphasizes that end users like to be in full control. This is why there's no surprise that this philosophy is so important. So to tie in usage and data transparency, there are 2 aspects worth mentioning here. The first is real-time data. This shows that at an instance who is using a license, how many licenses are used, and how many licenses remain. The second aspect is the availability of historical data. For example, what were the peak times? How many licenses were used? How often were they used? And by whom were they used by? The final concept in building a positive customer experience is enablement or self-service. Self-servicing is a fundamental aspect to further involve your end users in self-managing their licenses. The most important factor to the end user providing this full transparency is being able to monitor and maintain one's own license. This is achieved through a dashboard or a customer portal, which does not consume your resources because it does not require an on-demand, hands-on involvement from you. This information is presented to the end user in this dashboard could include such things as real-time and historical data on such information as license activations, renewals, and returns. Could provide them with the ability to view graphs of peak usage and other mission-critical information. It allows them to be able to slice and dice this information and act upon it as needed. And it also allows them to self-monitor and self-audit themselves. So to recap, the components that generate a positive customer experience from the software licensing aspect are versatility. Now this refers to separating the product functionality with feature-based licensing and simplifying pricing options through flexible product catalog definitions. Flexibility. This is flexibility with respect to the licensing and billing models. Transparency, or the no surprise philosophy, which provides your customers with all the relevant licensing information. And finally, enablement, ensuring that your end users have more involvement in managing their licenses without any direct software vendor involvement. All this leads to building and, more importantly, maintaining a positive customer experience. So in order to provide this positive experience, your licensing system must be technically capable. The system should provide you with the resources via APIs to integrate the license control into your code. It should be flexible enough to support a myriad of licensing models. And it should consist of a centralized platform to manage customer licensing. SafeNet's software rights management solution provides these capabilities and revolves around our Sentinel Entitlement Management System, or EMS, with our Sentinel License Development Kit, or LDK, and or our Sentinel RMS. So how is this really achieved? The whole experience enhancement revolves around the following philosophy. For software developers, this is the build area. This is the initial stage of implementing these controls into your product feature level by integrating licensing calls from our API within your code. Product management is concerned about the package stage. In this stage, the actual business models are defined. And this ties into what we described earlier, the product versatility and license flexibility items that we touched on. Sales, or sell, here we put the emphasis on license entitlement and the delivery of the licenses. Licenses can reside on a piece of hardware, on software, or even in the cloud. Now, the support group from the ISV or the end users are more important, concerned about the control aspect. So usage terms are enforced in addition to performing audits at this stage. Track is done by marketing. Here, aggregated usage data can be sliced and diced for the purpose of tracking the ongoing usage of the features, applications, and general usage over time. The analysis stage is where the executive management or business development is concerned with. Here, the aggregated data is used to drive future decision-making for the roadmap or product direction. So you may wonder how this all ties into our solution. This is where we see the SafeNet Sentinel design philosophy with a clear-cut separation between the various processes. On one side, we see the protection side, and on the other, we see the business side. We describe this as protect once, deliver many, and evolve often. Protect once fits it within the protection realm, where engineering goes ahead and incorporates the capabilities of the Sentinel licensing API to protect individual features of the application you want to license and sell. The binary may be built and then delivered after this stage, or you can use our envelope application, which is used to wrap it with the binary with defenses that mitigate software pirates' reverse engineering. The protected software is now provided to the end user, and most importantly, the engineering's involvement with licensing the product is no longer needed. Deliver many now is the business phase. This is where business-related decisions take place, and there is no need for engineering involvement at this stage. Deliver many contains the following. Define your product catalog. Select the most appropriate license model as per market, customer, or geographical need as an example. And then you choose the protection type. Protection type can be on a hardware key, a software key, or in the cloud. As part of the business process, we have the Evolve Often stage, which delivers the capability for your end users to actively track and the delivery and activation status of end user entitlements, and easily manage terms of each entitlement using Sentinel EMS. Additionally, you can track when and by whom your software is being consumed. A full separation between the business and engineering processes allows for a quick and painless license model and packaging updates. SafeNet was founded in 1983, and today we have over 1,600 employees and over 25,000 customers in over 100 countries worldwide. Over 500 of our employees are cryptographic engineers. We're the first company in the software licensing industry to implement sophisticated encryption capabilities by using white box cryptography. Our software monetization products cover mid, small, and enterprise-level applications. Sentinel Cloud, which is highly regarded in the industry, provides license management services for both pure-play SaaS and on-prem hybrid applications. In fact, this year, the Software and Information Industry Association awarded SafeNet its prestigious CODI Award for the best digital rights management solution in the market today. EMS is our cornerstone entitlement management system. RMS is an enterprise-grade license management system. And Sentinel LDK is a complete, out-of-the-box, turnkey license management system that can get you up and running quickly. I'll turn it over to Asaf for the Q&A and to wrap up. Asaf?
Can't hear me still? Nothing?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Sorry. Apparently I was on mute without really knowing. So I'd like to kind of recap and thank you, Mark, for this very insightful session. And just so to let you know, we received quite a few sort of questions during the presentation, and I'd like to kind of go ahead and kind of start going over them, if you like. So the first one is, is basically saying, hi, I'm currently using a homegrown licensing solution and have a built-in integration with my ERP and CRM system. Assuming I decide to use or to migrate to one of your products, what sort of back-end integration or platforms do you offer, sort of either out of the box or with some sort of an integration?
That's a good question. We get it quite often. We support a number of ERP and CRM systems by what we call our EMS connectors. For example, on the ERP side, we have the industry's first SAP certified solution for integrating licensing into an SAP system. When this connector is implemented, order information from the ERP side can be associated with licensing information with our EMS connector. EMS has a RESTful like API that's using web services, and this communicates through SAP using their they have standard protocols that we connect to. Now, from the customer management side or CRM side, we, for example, we support Salesforce. In this configuration, customer license entitlements can be associated with the CRM contacts in such a way that the most up-to-date license information for a customer is readily available to the software vendor. Now, one of the things I want to mention is that, as I mentioned, we see this often, customers asking us this, but we find that there's no standard out-of-the-box back-office integration implementation. So the best thing to do is work with your SafeNet salesperson and their sales engineer, such as myself, and work with it so that you align your products and resources needed to assure that there's a successful integration. We also have a professional services group that they can be called upon if necessary, and they can go ahead and conduct the integration for you as well. Hopefully that answers the question.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, that was a very, very insightful answer, so thank you. The second question we had is, it says in your presentation you made reference to the customer dashboard or customer portal. How do I sort of, me as the ISV or the software vendor, how do I make changes, or is it possible to personalize this? Can I customize it to include, my logo or my personal look and feel, i.e., the company's look and feel, and adapt it even to my internal processes?
Yes, you can. Look under the hood a little bit. Behind the scenes, one of the things I emphasize here is Entitlement Management System, our EMS product. And if you look under the hood, what's going on here is there's a Microsoft SQL database running and and communicating with a Apache Tomcat server. So as I mentioned earlier, just basically in a nutshell, EMS, we have this RESTful or REST-like interface for their web services. This is through our EMS API. And so everything that can be accomplished and displayed with the out-of-box EMS implementation can be conducted by these web services. And this includes such tasks as like creating entitlements and managing entitlements and working with customers and working with your product catalog. So all this is customizable.
Thank you. I think this kind of ties very much in with the next question we had, and the next question basically is asking, as an ISV, I would like to learn more on sort of license usage, expiration, renewals, most popular features and products. Basically, how does your system, or how does that whole backend integration provide me with that sort of this information, or how does that sort of help me and better understand the current situation of where I stand?
Okay, I believe you may be asking about our reporting capabilities. EMS has an extensive set of reports that may be generated, and they can be generated on demand, or you could actually set them up to be emailed to specific users on a periodic basis. These reports focus on providing information about the status of the license entitlements. And for example, one of the things that comes to mind is a report may be generated, for example, to show the number of entitlements that were provided to a specific customer. And more importantly, how many of those entitlements were activated and turned on to a license or turned into a license. The activation process basically locks a license to a specific machine or a specific server. Now, there's another report that comes to mind is you can generate when an activated license may be ready to expire. As I mentioned earlier, we have different types of license models, and one of them can be time-based. And so the EMS can be set up to automatically generate emails that are sent out to specific users to alert them that say, well, your license is about to expire. So, there's a number of different reports, available, and this, again, similar to the whole idea about integrating to your back-end systems. I'd suggest that you contact your SafeNet sales rep if you have any further questions or want to know more about the reporting features.
Okay. We have an additional 3 questions. So the first one is sort of what are the security measures that you offer as part of your protection scheme? Can you potentially sort of describe the security measures that you have in place and that sort of, help me in better protecting both my IP and sort of, my application or my software before I kind of hand it over to my end customers or end users?
Well, there's multiple security measures in place. First of all, like with EMS, as I mentioned earlier, EMS is using a web server, and basically you can go ahead and the vendor can implement secure sockets or SSL to provide encrypted communications to the web portals. But to answer your specific question about the IP, the protected app, the protected app, we implement such things as a secure channel that communicates between the application and license key. I mentioned this earlier that we're the first in our industry to utilize white box cryptography when that channel is set up. So that's very, 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 very difficult. I'm not going to say it's unhackable, but extremely difficult. Our envelope product provides a vendor selectable and multiple layers of 128-bit AES encryption around the executable, and this is a defense that is against reverse engineering of the binary image. We also have such measures to detect time tampering of a time-based license, or detect machine cloning for a software license, or detect if a software pirate is trying to attach a debugger to a running process that's protected. So pirates may want to do that and try and reverse engineer. With the debugger detection, the application will actually stop and won't work if you would like to set it up that way. So, with all this in mind, like I said, it's important to mention that while no defense is 100% impenetrable, there really hasn't been a generic hack against our system.
Okay, thank you. And we have 2 more questions. The first again is, what is the relationship between Sentinel HASP and Sentinel EMS? Are they separate or can they be used together?
Okay, now Sentinel HASP, it's actually now, Sentinel HASP is the latest product. Sentinel HASP was not based upon EMS or the Entitlement Management System. The latest product is the Sentinel LDK, or the License Development Kit. Very, very, very similar from your point of view to Sentinel HASP, but it's different in that whereas Sentinel HASP utilized the Business Studio, Now Sentinel EMS or Sentinel LDK is using EMS. And part of this is that they don't have to be, Sentinel LDK and EMS do not have to be used together. There is an API that's available that we call the LICGen, or License Generation API, that if you have a license generation system, you can go ahead and use our LICGen License Generation API to tie into to EMS, so they can be separated. In the past, Sentinel has been could not be separated. That is, the licensing side could not be separated from the business side, but now they can, or they can be used together.
Okay, and I think the last question is a very generic one. Will this presentation be made available for download? Yes,
I believe that on the final slide they can contact us, or they can contact. Yeah, they could just write on the slide there. There's Marcy's email address. Just contact Marcy if you write that down there. Marcy, MARCY.clapp, CLAPP at safenet-inc.com, and she can provide you with the presentation.
And in any case, I think that once you subscribe to the BrightTalk channel, there's a variety of obviously both the Ask the Experts. So previous webinars, we had 2 webinars already. The first one, as Mark mentioned, was about white box cryptography, and basically SafeNet being the industry pioneer in sort of using white box for basically securing the communication channel between the protected application and the license. And the second one was about hybrid licensing, which was again a very interesting topic, which kind of provided both worlds of sort of on-premise applications and cloud applications, and the way they could kind of move from not move from side to side, but we sort of allow software vendors to basically license these applications, whether cloud-based or sort of on-prem applications. And obviously the third one, which we're having today on entitlement management systems. So that was again our last question. So I would like to thank you everyone for submitting your questions and for attending today's webcast. If you have additional questions and would like to follow up with either myself, Mark, or Marcy, I kind of urge you to do that. And as I said, the email address is present right here on that last slide. And again, I'd like to thank Mark for taking the time and giving out this great presentation. And this basically concludes our session for today. So everyone have a good day, and thank you again.
Thanks, everyone.